Organisations are already facing increasing requirements to limit their carbon emissions, and this will continue into the foreseeable future. To reduce carbon emissions, at least initially, costs may go up, so we need to be thinking now about cost-effective ways to do this. Greenhouse gases are any air pollutant that negatively impacts the Earth's ozone layer, or those that stay in the atmosphere, essentially adding to the Earth's atmospheric blanket and creating a greenhouse effect. This traps heat within the Earth's atmosphere, as less of the heat from the sun that enters Earth's atmosphere goes back out into space, and this results in warmer atmospheric and surface temperatures. Emissions trading schemes are one way to encourage reductions in carbon emissions. The aim of these is to put a market-based price on carbon emissions and therefore encourage emission reductions and the use of substitute renewable or more environmentally friendly products or processes as the prices become more comparable. In a way, what an ETS does is reflect the cost to the environment of carbon emissions, therefore making the price more realistic if we think about it holistically. Governments need to be involved to artificially create a market because commercially not many businesses are keen to add the whole of life, whole of impact cost effects to their bottom line. So for organisations operating in a carbon-constrained economy, improving efficiencies in the way they operate or the products they purchase can also reduce the organisation's overall costs. This may not seem apparent against existing benchmarks, as prices are typically lower at present. But if you factor in future increases in price, particularly related to an ETS or carbon tax, then it will almost certainly be worth working on this now. Qantas has been working to reduce its carbon emissions mainly by reducing its fuel usage, although it also provides carbon offset options for customers. Qantas uses a lot of aviation fuel to power its aircraft. They used around 12.5 million litres every day in 2013-14. As a result, aviation fuel is a significant portion of Qantas's operating costs, being around 30% of sales revenues over the past 10 years. This actually jumped considerably from the early 2000s due to significant increases in oil prices. So by being more fuel efficient, the airline is not only reducing its carbon emissions, but also saving money on fuel-related costs. Changing consumer preferences is another key area to consider for organisations, and they will continue to change as they become more informed and as they more directly notice the effects of changes to Earth's climate. This will see customers being more conscious of what they buy and the product or service's impact on the environment. So an ideal strategy for an organisation to pursue, as we have seen in recent years, is green marketing. That is, promoting environmental credentials or environmentally friendly products to make the most of changing consumer preferences. It is also really worth mentioning at this point that the more demand goes up for environmentally friendly or renewable resources, the lower the prices will be for consumers. This goes back to the concept of supply and demand. And as demand increases, more suppliers will become interested in capturing market share and will work hard to please their customers. To recap, operating within a carbon-constrained environment is going to be the new reality for all accountants. So the key point for accountants and organisations is be prepared. Start forecasting and planning now, before costs increase and continue to increase. Also, consider investing now in emerging markets, which are likely to become more and more profitable in future as organisations and individual consumers are forced to find ways to operate in a carbon-constrained economy, and to do so need to purchase products from alternative sources. For example, sourcing wind-generated electricity to replace electricity used that is generated from coal, and redesigning your production processes to minimise energy use and waste.